More About People by Ogden Nash, 1902 to 1971. When people aren't asking questions, they're making suggestions. And when they're not doing one of those, they're either looking over your shoulder or stepping on your toes. And then, as if that weren't enough to annoy you, they employ you. Anybody at leisure incurs everybody's displeasure. It seems to be very irking to people at work to see other people not working. So they tell you that work is a wonderful medicine. Just look at Firestone and Ford and Edison. And they lecture you till they're out of breath or something. And then if you don't succumb, they starve you to death or something. All of which results in a nasty quirk, that if you don't want to work, you have to work to earn enough money so that you won't have to work. Okay, this is a poem by Ogden Nash. Let's see, Ogden Nash was a humorist. He used to write short satirical poems about society. He was born in New York. He did a year at Harvard University, and he worked for the New Yorker for a while. So what's this poem about? Well, this is the pressure of society pressurizing people to conform to the work ethic, that work is good for you, that work is something that you've got to do, and that if you don't want to work, there's something wrong with you. You're not a good person, and it's to do with the balance between work and leisure. And Nash is saying very clearly that people, you don't want to work. You want to enjoy your life. You don't want to have to do unpleasant things. But there's this emphasis on productivity that society is saying you've got to work, and if you don't work, then no. When people aren't asking questions, they're making suggestions. Okay, so people either ask you questions or they tell you what you should be doing. And when they're not doing one of those, they're either looking over your shoulder or stepping on your toes. And when they're not doing that, they're either staring at what you're doing, or causing problems by acting where they shouldn't. And then, if that weren't enough to annoy you, they employ you. And if all those things about people weren't a problem, then they give you a job. Anybody at leisure incurs everybody's displeasure. And this is very clearly the centre of this, that if you don't work, then everybody is angry with you. Everybody thinks you're a bad person. It seems to be very irking to people at work to see other people not working. So it seems like everybody who's working, it makes them really angry, anybody who doesn't work. So they tell you that work is wonderful medicine. Just look at Firestone, Ford and Edison. So they tell you that work is good for you. Work is good for the soul. And just look at Firestone or Ford or Edison, these famous people. And they lecture you till they're out of breath or something. And then if you don't succumb, they starve you to death or something. And so they will go on about the fact that you've got to work. And if you don't give in and start working, then you're probably going to starve to death. You're not going to have any money for anything. all of which results in a nasty quirk. So all of this has a bad result. That if you don't want to work, you have to work to earn enough money so that you won't have to work. Yeah? So if you don't want to work, the only way not to work is to work earning enough money so that you don't have to. So it's one of these ironies that you can't get out of it. It's not really fair. So let's see, the ethic is you've got to work really hard, but he's satirizing this and saying that, well, what about people who don't want to work? Yeah, it drives home the absurdity of the situation. So, More About People by Ogden Nash.